guys, welcome to Friday. So the first thing we have are some review problems working with those zeros. So go ahead and take a second and write those down and pause the video while you are writing them down. And then I'm going to go over the answers. So make sure you pause the video so you have time to write them down. So to go over the answers, the first one, I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, get 6, and then I'm going to add that 0 in to create the answer of 60. 3 times 20 is 60. Now 4 times 5, I would multiply first to get 20, and then I'm going to add my 0 to the end of that number. So 4 times 50 would be 200. The next one, we also have 3 times 2, which is 6, and this time we're going to add 2 zeros, so my answer would be 600. And now I have 6 times 7, which is 42, and I'm going to add my 2 zeros. So for this one, I have 3 times 2 is 6, and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros. So my answer is 6,000. And then my last one, 50 times 200, I have 5 times 2, which is 10. Now that 0 doesn't count as the ones I'm about to check off. So after I write my 10, then I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 more zeros. So a total of 4 zeros in that one. So hopefully you're getting these right and able to do the multiplication with these zeros, all right? So let's get our math book out. We're going to open our math book up to page 59. Page 59. Let's see a different color for that. So we're going to go to page 59, multiplying multi-digit numbers. Okay? So the first problem says there are 128 pens in a full box. How many pens are in 35 full boxes? So the first question at the bottom of the page says, what is the problem about? There are 128 pens in a full box. How many pens are in 35 boxes? So what is the problem about? It's about pens and how many I have if I have 35 boxes. The second question says, what are you trying to find out? Well, I'm trying to find out how many pens there are if I have 35 full boxes. And then the last question says, what information is important? Well, I think it's important to know how many pens are in a full box, and I think it's important to know how many boxes I have. So the two numbers, 128 pens in a full box, and the fact that I have 35 full boxes would be the important information. So in order to solve this problem, we are going to multiply. So we've talked about a couple of different ways of multiplying. We've talked about partial products and products. So I'm going to draw a line through the middle of my page. You can also do that. And so I'm going to draw that so that I can solve it two different ways. So the first way I'm going to solve it is called standard multiplication. So it's 128 on top and 35 underneath that. And I'm going to multiply that out. So go ahead and pause the video and try to multiply that yourself before you check your answer with me, or you can just multiply it with me. So I'm going to do 8 times 5 is 40, carry my 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 more would give me 14. And then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more would give me 6. And remember, this is just a partial product because this is only part of the answer. I've only multiplied my 5 ones. Now I need to multiply my 3 or my 30 because it's in the tens place. So I'll add your 0 to your second line and then begin multiplying. So 3 times 8 is 24, carry my 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 more would give me 8. And then 3 times 1 is 3. Again, this is still a partial product. This is not my answer yet. I have not put my two partial products together for my answer. In order to get my answer, I need to add. So I'm going to add both partial products together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 4 is 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. So hopefully you got the answer of 4,480 when you multiplied. Now again, I told you, you can multiply using standard multiplication or you can use your lattice box. So the second one that we're going to create together is going to be our lattice box. Okay? And in order to solve with our lattice box, we have to find the expanded form of each number. So I'm going to start with 128. 128. And then separate each of those values. And then on the side, I'm going to do the expanded form of 35. So I have a 30 and I have a 5. Okay? So in order to find the answer to this one, I need to multiply each of these boxes to find each partial product. So I'm going to start with 3 times 1 is 3, and I need to add 1, 2, 3 zeros, which would give me 30 times 100 is 3,000. The second one is 30 times 20. 3 times 2 is 6, and add 1, 2 zeros. And then 30 times 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And then I'm going to add 1 0. Do the same thing for the 5. 5 times 100. 5 times 1 is 5. Add your 2 zeros. 5 times 20. 5 times 2 is 10. Add your 1 0. And then 5 times 8 is 40. And no zeros to add because there's no zeros in the 5 or the 8. So again, all of these green parts are again called your partial products. So in order to find the final product, I'm going to write each partial product lined up, and then I'm going to add them up to get the final answer. Notice how Miss Vera has everything in the ones place lined up, in the tens place. If you don't line it up and you try to squeeze it together, then your answer is going to come out wrong, so be mindful of that. So all these are zeros, so my ones, I have 0 ones. I have 4 plus 4, which would give me 8. I have 6 plus 2, which is 8, plus 5, which is 13, plus 1 more would give me 14, and then 3 plus 1 is 4. So your final answer should also be 4,480. So it's asking us how many pins, and we have 4,480 pins. Okay? I'm going to skip the next 2 pages, page 60 and 61, so I want you to go over to page 62. At the top of page 62, so we're going to do one question at a time. So let's start with number 7. It says, find the product of 120 times 25 times 40. So this one says, does it matter what order you multiply the numbers? So let's think about multiplication. If I said 3 times 2, is that the same as 2 times 3? Yes, it's the same. So does it matter which order that I multiply these? No, even though there's 3 of them, it doesn't matter if I do 2 of them first and then multiply that by the third, okay? So we're going to start with, I'm going to start with the ones that are zeros, because those look like if I'm starting multiplication, that's going to be a little bit easier for me to do first. So I'm going to go ahead and pick those 2 first. So let's do 12 times 4, which is 48. And then I'm going to add 1, 2 zeros. Okay? So I've multiplied the 120 times the 40. So I got 4,800 as an answer, but now I need to multiply that times the 25. Now this one's not as simple to multiply as that 12 times 4, so I'm going to come over to the side and multiply 48 times 25. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Put your 0, because now you're multiplying by your 2, which is your tens place, so 20. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more would make 9. Again, notice those partial products are lined up so I can add them easier. So I have 0 plus 0 is 0, and 6 and 4 makes 10, and then 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 more would make 12. Now remember, all I multiplied is 48 times 25. I got 1,200. What have I not added to my answer yet? Hopefully you said these 2 zeros. 1, 2. So my final answer of the product of 120 times 25 times 40 is 120,000. So again, it does not matter which order that you multiply them. You just need to multiply 2 of them, get an answer, and then multiply that answer by the third one. Okay, let's go down to number 8. Number 8 says find the volume of the rectangular prism. Now volume is something we haven't learned in 5th grade, but it's like area. Remember how area is length times width? So area would be this bottom piece down here. It would be your length of 120 times your width. So which is 25 right here. So for volume, you add one more number to it, and that's how high something is. And all you're going to do is multiply that by your length times width. That's all you have to do. So how is this problem similar? Well, when we find the volume of something, just like in number 7, we multiply 3 numbers together. So 120 times 40 times 25. So it's similar to number 7. It is number 7 with the same numbers, understanding that it doesn't matter which order we multiply it, but in order to find the volume of something, you have to multiply all 3 of them together. So just like we did before, we would multiply these 2 first, and then we take that answer and multiply it by 25. It didn't ask for the answer, it just wants to know how is it similar. So it's similar because it is multiplying 3 factors. So a factor is a number that's multiplied together. So this has 3 factors in it. It has 25 as a factor, 40 as a factor, and 120. All right, and let's go down to number 9. Now number 9 at the top says exit ticket. Exit ticket. So what I'd like you to do is do this one on your own. Excuse me. It says a library bookshelf holds 156 books. There are 15 bookshelves in a certain section of the library. How many books can the library place on these bookshelves? So each bookshelf holds 156 and there's 15 bookshelves. So how many books can they put out? Go ahead and complete this one and we will talk about it tomorrow. Unless today's Friday, then we'll talk about it on Monday. All right, guys. Our lesson is over for today. Make sure that you are going back and completing any iReady minutes for the week or iReady diagnostic that you may not have completed. Thank you, guys.